How will you address immigration to Trump supporters? This is a fantastic question. Here is what the average person who wants border protection is concerned about, that I hear overwhelmingly. They are worried that they're going to lose their job to an immigrant. They are worried that immigrants are going to bring, and we'll even specifically illegal immigrants, but just immigrants, illegal or otherwise, are going to bring crime and danger to their communities. They are worried that immigrants are going to come and use up the welfare system and drive up the cost of welfare and take away. I often hear, we need to help homeless veterans and people, poor Americans who were born here, not people from other countries. These are all concerns that on their face are understandable concerns to have. Thankfully, we have the facts on our side. So we know that in the Constitution, there's no mention of migration or controlling immigration. And of course, that means the 10th Amendment says that anything that isn't explicitly mentioned in the Constitution is best left to the state, or actually has to be left to the states, or preferably the individual people. That's why for the first 100 years of the United States' existence under the Constitution, there were no restrictions on immigration. The first restrictions on immigration came from the Chinese panic, the fear that Chinese people were going to come here and overrun us. And so they introduced laws against Chinese migration. And the first immigration laws that tried to be introduced, they were struck down as unconstitutional because they were, until finally the Democrats were able to get enough appointed justices in place so that the justices said, we can. The government can limit immigration because technically immigration is a type of commerce. Well, no, it isn't. Commerce is the trading of goods and services for money. It is not people going across a line. That same twisted redefinition of commerce is what the Supreme Court has used for the war on drugs and gun control and Obamacare and pretty much every terrible infringing rule that you can think of. It started with immigration. Now, let's look at the facts on immigration. People are worried about if immigrants are going to come here and get on welfare. Well, thankfully, we know from the data that immigrants, including illegal immigrants, are actually much less likely to use public assistance and welfare and other public programs and social safety nets than native-born Americans of the same income levels. So we know that they're not coming here to get on welfare. Some of them end up on welfare, usually because when they get here, those same burdens and barriers are in place. And unless they're doing it illegally on the side, they can't get around the burdens. And so they end up on public assistance. But if you remove those burdens, that's not a problem anymore. They're coming here to work. They're coming here to do, a lot of them are coming here, the majority of them are coming to do seasonal labor and then go right back home. They go and do the farm work and then they go right back home. So we know that they're not coming for welfare. The worry about crime. We know that immigrants, including illegal immigrants, are significantly statistically less likely to commit violent crime than the average native-born America. And there are many factors and reasons for this, but they are. I know when my dad's side of the family came here, that was the same stuff they were told. These were foreign people with their foreign religion and their dirty ways, and they are going to come and they're going to bring crime, and they're going to come and they're going to live off of us because they're lazy. That's not what happened. And that's not what's happening now. But we need to speak to their concerns, because one of the concerns is, again, am I going to lose my job? And the answer to that is, ask the cronies who made the restrictions that made it so that you had to rely on them for a job in the first place, and which at the very and which drove up the cost of hiring you legally, so that now they can go and hire someone illegally, which is something they know they can do because they can afford the fines. But they know that small businesses can't afford it because they'll lose everything. So now the small businesses are stuck either hiring you at a much higher cost than hiring someone illegally, or just going out of business, or folding and becoming a part of that bigger business. And so the bigger business can hire people illegally because they drove up the cost of hiring you. And so if you remove those restrictions, now it's not unaffordable to hire you. That's the problem. The government barriers are the problem. This guy coming over to do seasonal farm labor, because that's the other thing. The majority of work that people are coming over to do isn't work that Americans are doing anyway, because it's not very high wage work, and it's sometimes pretty brutal work that they're doing. But even in the cases where they are coming over to do work that you're doing, the government and their cronies have priced you out of being price competitive. That's the problem. Not this guy trying to get ahead in life, not this family trying to escape persecution. They're just coming over trying to make a better life. They're no threat to you. It's the people who have tried to make you unemployable and unaffordable because they want you to be reliant on them for basic goods and services. They're the problem. So we get rid of that.